Title: My stepson didn't invite me to his wedding. My wife thinks you're pathetic. So I pulled the financial plug 3 hours later. His uncle called. Start: I didn't plan to destroy their wedding day. But betrayal has a way of sharpening a man's instincts. The moment it began was quiet. Too quiet. I was in my study when my phone buzzed with a message from an old friend. Congratulations! Just saw the wedding announcement. Big day for the family. I froze. Wedding, announcement, family. 3 words that shouldn't have been news to me. I clicked the link. There he was, my stepson, Arham, smiling beside his fiancée. The caption announced a date, a venue, a celebration with close family. Close family. Except me. The article felt like a bullet wrapped in lace. Before the anger came, there was confusion. Why hadn't my own family told me? Why was I learning this from a stranger? I walked out to the living room, holding my phone like evidence. My wife looked up from her laptop, and I saw it instantly. The guilt she tried to bury behind a soft smile. "You knew about this?" I asked. She sighed, like my question was an inconvenient. "It's complicated." I nodded. "Explain." She didn't hesitate, didn't stutter. She delivered the blow with the same calmness one uses to discuss grocery lists. "Arham didn't want you there. He thinks you're too intense, too strict, and honestly, I agree. You're always trying to control things. It's pathetic sometimes." Pathetic? She said it like it was nothing, like I was nothing. I remember staring at her and realizing how far she drifted from the woman I married. I'd raised her son, funded his schooling, saved his business twice. And this? This was how the gratitude surfaced? That was the moment the shift happened inside me. The pain didn't stay pain. It reshaped itself, slow, cold, surgical. I said nothing. Silence can be louder than rage. Arham was 17 when I married his mother. I stepped into a collapsing household. Debt, emotional chaos, a boy who didn't know whether he hated his father or missed him. I helped him straighten his spine. I taught him discipline, strategy, how to stand his ground. And now he stood on his ground by cutting me out of the biggest day of his life. I remembered the nights I stayed awake helping him finish school projects, the times I fought banks for his startup loans, the day he crashed his car and cried in my arms, drunk on fear and regret. Every memory became evidence. Every memory became fuel. Later that evening, I checked the family group chat. Silent. No mention of a wedding. Nothing that risked alerting me. But people get sloppy when they're arrogant. His fiancée had posted an Instagram story. Her hugging my wife in front of the wedding venue, laughing with the wedding planner. The caption read, "Love our little secret team." Little secret. My family had become a secret. I realized then that this wasn't an oversight. It was choreography. They expected me to ignore it, to accept it, to stay pathetic. Revenge needs patience and precision. First, I reviewed everything I'd built for them. All the money I'd invested in Arham's business. All the accounts I managed. All the vendors I'd prepaid for the wedding venue as a future gift long before they excluded me. Yes, the venue deposit, catering advance, photography contract, all in my name. They thought I'd forgotten. I never forget what I pay for. Second, I met with my attorney. Quietly. We discussed restructuring my personal assets, including the business accounts tied to Arham. Within an hour, my lawyer initiated freezes, cancellations, and ownership corrections. Third, I called the venue. Calm, polite, deadly. I need to cancel the event under my account. They protested, as expected. But money speaks, and I spoke fluently. By noon, 3 days before the wedding, the reservation was officially void. But I wasn't done. I contacted the photographer, the decorator, the sound team, the caterers, Every single vendor. I didn't threaten, I simply invoked my legal authority as the paying client and rescinded all approvals. The wedding was collapsing like a house of cards caught in a quiet wind. I didn't tell my wife. I didn't confront anyone. I wanted the truth to reveal itself through consequences, not words. The explosion arrived 3 hours after the vendor cancellations finalized. My phone rang. Arham's uncle, voice shaking. "They're outside your gate," he said, "with lawyers. They want to talk. It's urgent." I stepped out onto the front porch. They were all there. My wife, pale and trembling, Arham, red-eyed, furious, suit wrinkled like he'd been dragging himself through desperation, his fiancée crying quietly. Behind them, 2 lawyers and a confused priest stood like spectators at an execution. "What did you do?" my wife demanded. I walked down the steps slowly, letting the silence choke them. Arham stepped forward. "You can't do this," he said. "You've ruined everything. The venue, the contracts." "The money," I corrected. "Contracts I signed. A venue I paid for. Or did your little secret team forget that part?" My wife's eyes widened. "This is petty. This is bookkeeping," I replied. The lawyers approached, attempting diplomacy. But legality was on my side. Every cancellation had been executed within contractual rights. They realized it. I watched the hope drain from their faces. Arham's voice cracked. We need your help. The wedding is in 3 days." "And you didn't need me at all last week." My voice remained calm. Control is louder when it whispers. His fiancée sobbed harder. My wife looked at me like I'd become a stranger. Maybe I had. "What do you want?" my wife whispered. Her voice was small, smaller than I'd ever heard it. "Respect," I said. "The kind that isn't spoken, only shown." Arham swallowed. "We're sorry." "No," I said. "You're desperate. That's different." I let the words hang between us, sharp enough to cut. Then I turned away. I didn't slam the door. I closed it softly. Soft hurts more. They scrambled to salvage the wedding. They failed. Vendors were fully booked, venues unavailable. It became a courthouse formality. Quiet, rushed, embarrassing. They blamed each other, they blamed me. But deep down, they knew who really destroyed the wedding. They did. When you exclude someone who built your foundation, you shouldn't be surprised when the house falls. I sleep easily now. Not because I won, but because I remembered who I am. Not pathetic, not forgotten, just underestimated. And that mistake cost them everything.